Japanese police. How does policing work in Japan? Basically, policing is a series of small boxes or koban. Koban means police. There's boxes all over communities, towns, and cities. Basically, it's bicycle based for the most part. Police are on bicycles going around their neighborhoods from these little police boxes. The design of Japan's policing is very efficient. I'd say these police boxes are everywhere you go in Japan. You see these little koban boxes. The bigger police stations are, of course, less frequent, less common, and you don't see those so much. So the community policing in Japan, as I said, is bicycle based. What happens is police get calls and they go out on their bicycle or scooters. They have little scooters and they go to wherever the problem is. So if the problem is bigger, they'll go there. The police or the scooters, police on scooters will go there. And if they need help, they'll call backup. They'll call a police car and yada, yada, yada. So that's how it works in Japan. And the coverage is excellent because Japan's train stations are everywhere. Japan's train stations are spread out all over the country. Wherever there's a train station, there's also a police box. And then going out from those stations are more police boxes. So the coverage is very, very good. Mostly bicycle based, scooter based. And at these police boxes, they're usually empty. So if you go inside a police box, you'll see a small white phone. And you can use those phones to call for help, to call the bigger station, to call the emergency number in Japan. Sometimes the police are in these boxes. They're just not at the desk. They're in a back room. So if you walk into a box, it's empty. The police might be there. They might not be there. They might be in the back room. If they're not there, sometimes they'll leave a sign that says, "We're out doing police work. Please sit down and use the phone if you need help." So, what are the drawbacks of these koban, these small police boxes everywhere? Well, they're not always there. They're out doing work. So it might be just the same as just staying home and just call the emergency number and have the police go to your house. But the community aspect is very helpful for some people if there's a problem outside your home, obviously. So that's good. Something you need to know about Japanese police is they are extremely, extremely tolerant, like unbelievably tolerant. So many times I've seen regular, just Japanese citizens screaming at police, like in their face, screaming them down, like unrelenting. And the police just stand there and take it. It's unbelievable how much restraint and tolerance they show. If this happened in my country, people would be, sprayed with pepper spray or mace. They would be arrested, thrown against the car, handcuffed. You were not following orders, da 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 da. They would be taken in. In Japan, they don't arrest people easily. I mean, you can basically really abuse Japanese police and they won't do anything about that abuse. They might give you a ticket or arrest you for what caused the problem in the first place, but they are gluttons for punishment. They will take abuse and punishment like I have never seen before. It's unbelievable. My experience with the police in Japan has been pretty good. So one time I went to a dog park with my dogs. Actually, it wasn't a dog park. It was just a small area on the side of a trail. And I let my dogs run around without a leash. And in Japan, there's a leash rule for dogs, although Japanese people don't follow this. So if you go to the beach in Japan, dogs are off their leash, running around all over the place. So it's your choice whether you want to follow this or not. Anyway, I was at this small park area, and a man freaked out. People see me there all the time. See my dogs there all the time running around. They're like, "Oh, it's so cute. It's great." Nobody has a problem. For some reason, this man had a problem. He called the police. The police came. They were super polite. They were really nice to me. They asked me what happened. no problem. I said, this guy overreacted, I think because he's racist, because I was a gaijin, foreigner. And the police were great about it. They were really nice. They loved my dogs, and nothing happened. So that was nice. Also, one time, another experience I had, and this is about Japanese police tolerance, by the way. I was at a demonstration, and I had a speaker, and I was playing sounds and music through the speaker connected to my phone really loud. I mean, my speaker was almost full blast. It was so loud, I wore earphones when I was at this demonstration because I didn't want to hear the sounds. I was blasting out. It was that loud. 2 police came over and they asked me about the volume, how loud it was. And they said, "Oh, can you please turn it down?" And they said something about 110 decibels. Maybe this is the law or the limit in Japan, which is totally bullshit, by the way. There's garbage trucks, recycling trucks, blasting music every day, every week, going through neighborhoods. There's elections in Japan, election season. These trucks are outside stations. Trucks are going through the neighborhoods, blasting sounds on loudspeakers. So Japan is very noisy. Anyway, these cops came to ask me about my speaker. They said, "This is the level." I didn't turn it down. I did not turn my speaker down the whole time I talked to these police. And they were great. And I basically said to them, "Okay, can you show me the law? You said 110 decibels, great. Please show me the law." They said, "Oh, chotomate, please wait." They went away. They talked for a little bit. Came back a couple minutes later. The whole time my speaker was blasting. Didn't turn it down at all. They came back and they said, "Oh, please turn it down." I didn't turn it down. So finally, I was willing to turn it down, and I gave them my phone, and I said, "Please show me the correct level. You can turn down my phone. Show me the correct level." And they went away for a couple minutes talking, maybe calling the police headquarters or something. They came back, and they did nothing. Actually, yeah, they came back, and they just walked away. So I never turned down my speaker. It just was blasting continuously. They were there total maybe 10 minutes asking me to turn this down, and maybe they were searching for the law. They couldn't find it. So they're very tolerant, very, very tolerant. And they never asked me for my ID, my personal information that day, nothing. So another story about the police. I was training for a bicycle race, and I found a long hill, and I was on a racing bike, a road bike, and I was doing repeats up and down this hill many times, and I was cranking. I was going fast, uphill and downhill, because I used to race bikes, so it's no problem, not an issue. There was some cars on the street, not many cars. It was like the middle of the day on a weekday. But my guess is someone from a store or on the side, maybe living on this street, called the police. And I finished a repeat. I was going down, and at the bottom of the hill, I was turning around 180 and going back up the hill. At the bottom of the hill, there was a police car, and they were speaking on the loudspeaker to me, and I just was like, whatever, because if you're on a bike in Japan, police will never catch you if they're in a car. They will never catch you, because cars will always block them. You can get away very easily, right? So I ignored them. I went up the hill to just, keep training. Obviously, I knew there was something going on, and I thought, oh, that's probably about me. So I got to the top of the hill, and at the top of the hill were 2 motorcycle cops, and they were not on small scooters. They were on proper, highway patrol, beefy, kind of chunky motorcycles, police motorcycles. So, and they basically passed by me, and I'm not sure if they saw me, but at that point I thought, oh, okay, that's definitely about me. So I ducked in on a small path between an apartment and maybe it was 2 apartments, and they never found me, and I just rode away and rode home, so I was safe. But that time, maybe if they would have caught me, maybe would have been a problem. I'm not sure, or they would have just been like, "Oh, don't go so fast here," or blah da 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 da. So at that point, I probably would have pulled the gaijin card, the foreigner, "Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay, well, thanks. Thanks a lot. I'll come here training tomorrow." So, anyway, police are they have a lot of restraint. They're very tolerant, as I've said many times already. Some gaijins, some foreigners have complained about Japanese police bothering them. From what I gather, those are people that are out drinking or it's late at night. And they're in places like Shibuya or Shinjuku or somewhere else where it's busy and where problems happen. And of course, that's where police target people, right? So maybe they're going to spot check people and ask for IDs, even if you're doing nothing wrong. Maybe you're drunk, maybe not. It's 11 p.m., it's 12 p.m. The last train home is an issue because trains stop in Japan at like 1 o'clock. So, people are pouring out of izakayas or bars and they're probably drunk. So that's kind of the problems you see. But basically, in Japan, I have never been asked to show my ID. And the rule in Japan is everyone needs to carry ID, everybody. So nobody stopped me in Japan. Not one time has the police said, "Oh, can you show me your ID?" Even when I'm making problems or being too loud with the speaker or the dog thing, they never ask. So it's not a problem in Japan. So overall, I would say community. Why can't I say this live on video? Community policing is very good. And if you come to Japan, you might see Japanese people screaming at Japanese police and think, "Wow, they would never accept that in my country." But you'll see that in Japan. So that's a bit about Japan's police.